What's up, guys? It's Joy Sports Network over here, and let's get right on with the news. With basketball, we got the NBA who recently made a call line in case someone breaks quarantine or something like that. Like, you could call and literally snitch on a player, a staff member, an owner, anyone. I don't know, but they made that. So the rules are gonna be very strict up there at Disney World, and it's gonna be crazy. But yeah. Next up, we got, does LeBron James control the NBA? Many people have come to the hypothesis, theory, that LeBron James has a hand in the NBA's decisions and with everything that's happening, and what is if he is the sole reason why the NBA is continuing, because this is his chance to get a title and he wants to win as many titles as possible before he retires. And I'm not being biased because I'm a Laker fan or anything like that, but I don't think he has a hand in those decisions. I do think he plays a huge impact with his voice when it comes to voicing, like, I want that season to start. But he does not have the control or makes the decisions of whether the NBA continues or it doesn't. Next up, we got a sad one. Vince Carter has announced that he's retiring. He is done from playing basketball. The end of a great 22-year career for Vinsanity, one of the best NBA players. Very good guy. I wish him the best in whatever he does afterwards. Football, we got Jamal Adams, who is a really good safety for the New York Jets, who has officially requested a trade from the Jets. And let me tell you why this is happening. At first, he was pro to stay and everything like that with the Jets, and he pledged his loyalty to them. But and the general manager told him, like, I want to keep you. I don't want to trade you to no one else. Like, I want you to play here. But then Jamal Adams, I don't know how he figured out that the Jets were talking with other teams and talking about potentially trading him to other destinations. And he was like, wow, how could I trust someone who just told me that they're not going to trade me, and now he's looking out shopping me out in the market like that. Like, that's not right. So he requested a trade, and his top destinations are going to be the Dallas Cowboys, of course, because he's from Texas, Houston Texans as well, Texas team, Baltimore Ravens, Kansas City Chiefs, San Francisco 49ers, and yeah, those are the teams that he wants to go to, and we'll see what happens because he has requested that trade. Next up, we got Brady in the Bucks uniform released. Hopefully it's on that side, and yeah, that he looks very nice in the Bucks uniform. That's cool, and maybe this is a new moment for Brady because he's finally leaving the Patriots now. This is a time where the Patriots fans finally realize, like, fuck, like, Brady has really officially left us, and he's at Tampa Bay now. Like, when people talk about Brady, they're gonna talk about Tampa Bay. Like, that's how it usually is with Peyton Manning, for example. Peyton Manning with the Indianapolis Colts, and then he went to the Denver Broncos. Now people are like, whenever Peyton Manning's talk about, you talk about the Broncos. But we'll see how he does with the Bucks. I mean, he has a lot of weapons over there. Next up, we got Dak Prescott. He recently signed his franchise tag with the Dallas Cowboys. I believe it's worth $31.6 million. But now him and the Dallas Cowboys have until July 15th to agree on a long-term deal with for the future for him to stay at Dallas, or else he's gonna be going to free agency or traded. I don't know how that works, but he's leaving if they don't get this resolved by July 15th. And I believe Dallas, that was the goal for them in the first place. Many times they tried dealing with Dak, but they ultimately knew it was going to come down to him signing that franchise tag and having to, get that deal done before July 15th or at July 15th to keep him there. So I think Dallas was waiting till that very end moment to sign him up. Next up, we got Dani Alves. Oh, well, we're done with football. Next up, we got Dani Alves to AC Milan. Dani Alves has recently said that if he were to go to a team like AC Milan, he would be the star player there for his age, And yeah, I wouldn't deny that he's a really good player, but you know, I don't see. Maybe actually, I might see it happening. I don't know what position Theo Hernandez plays, but maybe Dani Alves on one side and Theo on the other side. That could work out very well. Next up, we got Bayern. Bayern wants to sell Thiago to get half. Next up, we got Havertz, who Bayern wants to fund for, and to do that, they're gonna sell Thiago this summer for, I believe, the price of about 60 million to fund for Havertz. So yes, Bayern for sure will sell Thiago this summer to get Havertz, and I believe Havertz has many other teams after him right now. I believe Chelsea. My last video last week, I mentioned that Chelsea was also after him. So I'm curious to see where he'll end up. Next up, we got one that makes me really happy. Arthur will be going to Juventus. He is going to be going to Juventus, and Pjanic will go to Barcelona. So basically, the deal is 80 million or 85 million, and I believe Juventus will offer Pjanic, who I believe is worth from 70 through 75 million. So they're giving him Pjanic, covering that expense, and then they'll give him 10 million on the side for Arthur. So Arthur is going to Juventus. I'm not being biased or anything, but I 100% think my favorite team, Juventus, won this deal, because they're getting a player like Arthur who I believe fits Sarri's system, and he's younger. Not anything against Pjanic or his age, but because there's many players over there with that type of age who are doing really well in Europe. But Pjanic has been showing signs of decline for not just me, but many Juventus fans. And I think it was time, you know, to let him go. And thankfully, we got a good return for it. And it's going to be really good for us because, you know, Arthur fits the system. And I believe he will be doing his medicals in 2 days at Juventus. So I'm happy for that. Arthur to Juventus, you know. At first, he didn't want to come because, you know, he's loyal to Barca. And I respect that, you know. I respect that. But, you know, I believe he realized, like I said it to many of my Barcelona friends who are mad out there, like my friend Jesus, George, you know, you really think someone's gonna want to stay there after, you know, the team has tried to sell them so many times like that. At one point, it's like, bro, like they just want to get rid of me. I think I gotta go, you know, do my thing. So Arthur and Juventus dealed, and now Arthur's going to Juventus, which is spectacular for us and all of Juventus and Juventus fans and the whole community. It's big. Next up, we got Hakimi from Dortmund going to Inter Milan. I think this is a very good pickup for Inter Milan because Hakimi is a very good young player, you know, raised in the Dortmund system. And we know Dortmund is known for, you know, making these young players into stars. Like, we know that if young players want to become stars, they have to go to Dortmund first, develop themselves. And that team has always been great when it comes to developing players and completing their growth. So I think Inter Milan did make a good pickup here, and hopefully that guy doesn't do no damage against us when we play against them next season. Next up, we got a happy one. You know, Liverpool fans. Liverpool finally win the Premier League after, I believe, many years. The last time they won it was the 1980s, which is fantastic for them to finally win now. You know, after all they went through last year, they won the Champions League, but they didn't win the league. I think they lost to City by just 1 point. And now they finally win the league, which is fantastic for them after. And the wait was long. You know. Sadly, this thing with the coronavirus happened, and it delayed the wait even longer. And then there was even a chance that the league could get canceled. Liverpool fans were having the most anxiety attacks during this break. And, you know, it's really good to finally have that off your chest, you know, and finally be able to celebrate that championship, which is truly fantastic. And I'm happy Liverpool won that league. So respect to them. Respect to Klopp, who is an excellent coach. You know, it took him 5 years, but in those 5 years, he changed the team so much that he made them back to a powerhouse of Europe, to what they were before, you know. Back then, Liverpool was a powerhouse, but they couldn't win that league. They were always winning Champions Leagues, but not the league. And now they're finally able to say, like, you know, we won our own domestic league, which is truly fantastic. Next up, we got UFC. No more soccer, guys. Jorge Masvidal, I support that man. You know, half Cuban, half Peruvian like myself. Versus Khabib. Jorge Masvidal has expressed his interest in facing Khabib, and he wants to face him when Khabib is willing to come back and fight. And I think that's very fantastic for the sport of MMA, UFC. It's gonna be really good. I think Dana White knows it's gonna be really good, and that's a fight a lot of people want to see. But I believe Khabib has to get through Justin Gaethje first and see what happens over there, and maybe later we're gonna be able to see. Sorry guys, Jorge Masvidal versus Khabib, which will truly be fantastic for all of us. Well, I think that's it, and I just want to finish off by saying thank you guys so much. We have 86 subscribers. 86 subscribers. We're only 14 away from 100 subscribers, and that's truly incredible for me, and I'm beyond grateful, and I'm super happy. I want this channel to keep growing, and then keep growing. So just thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you guys with all my heart. Joya Sports Network with 86 subscribers.